Okay, so we'll do a shiur. There's a lot to do in it. We won't do all of it. Maybe on Shabbat we'll finish it. And after that we'll do mincha, and then we'll have like a suda, right? So like pretty much like Purim, just like preparing for the suda. So it's all it's ending with the suda. So if we begin just with the topic of the shiur, so source number one, right? So the topic is shiur for forever leaders. So welcome home is a question mark and an exclamation mark. What does home really mean, and what does it mean to come back? Students of the year 2011, 2012, 2013, or 2018. What is 2014 really, right? So there's sort of like the past, that was 2011, 2012, 2013. There's the future, 2018, and 2014, what's actually happening here? Like, are we trying to relive our past, reminisce over what was? Moshe Sachs used to, like, I don't know, daven at 4 o'clock in the morning. Jacob Green used to watch a Rangers game, and then do Vatican with all of Am Yisrael. Well, Cooper used to, dance with Orayta, whatever it is. Are we trying to reminisce in 2014 the past? Or is there an idea that what's happening now has nothing to do with what was, and we're going toward 2018? So really, who cares, and what is really 2014? So we'll get back to, I guess, are we trying in this week to relive what was or create what will be? But my question first, before we start at all, are what are the greatest challenges of people who are home and went out, right? Someone that was home, you felt whatever it is, you were home and then you went out, and you have 7 choices. So you have exactly, I guess, 49 seconds to look at the 7 options to pretty much define your experience in whatever university you are, whatever army you're in, why you, wash you, be you, all those different ideas. Whatever one of these 7 experiences, define 2014, choose one, and what only matters is not what you're saying, but why is that the experience that you're having in 2014. So, 49 seconds.
Wait, can you define what each category is a little bit?
I will.
Sorry.
So much fun. Okay, so there's only 7 categories because there's 7 days of the week. So there would have been more, but Hashem decided 7 days. The first challenge is the social. Pretty much finding the right friends, finding the right circle, finding the right people to be with. Is that the greatest challenge of leaving home? Number 2 is the inability to continue. You don't have sources, you don't have people, you don't have books, you don't have mikvahs, you don't have Vatican that enable you to continue. Third one is doubting your past. Realizing that what you're in now is total contrast to where you were. So instead of sort of dealing with where you are, you sort of doubt everything that you did before. That's, I guess, the third one. Letting go of what is real because of reality. A little bit of a song there. Come on. Bronner, it's a little bit of a song. So number 5 is lonely. Is that like the main experience? 6 is empty. And 7 is fear. So I think those are like... So out of the 7, which ones are the strongest? Ready for Rabbeinu, Mark Whiteson. Just say the most exciting thing about it. No?
What was exciting?
No. Like any of these are like the strongest one for you.
Yeah, I think social for me.
Doug Doletsky.
Inability to continue.
Inability to continue. Ready for Rabbeinu, Union, Billy C. Cooper, ABC.
I guess maybe social.
The
I'm
social.
really not sure, because empty wasn't well described in my opinion.
At the river.
Social.
Dewey Taplow.
Definitely inability to continue.
When Rabbeinu Nati Finbird. Empty. When Rabbeinu Meyer Finbird. Social. When Rabbeinu Orayta.
7 fail.
Fear. When Rabbeinu Yitzhak Blank.
Empty?
Empty. When Rabbeinu Moshe Bar Mitzvah Sax.
I think it's a tie between 2 and 3. Inability to continue and doubting the past.
It's big ones. It's big ones. When Rabbeinu Levi Simcha Maro.
I think inability to continue.
Uncle Green.
Fear.
Fear. When Rabbeinu Yitz Eichenstein.
I'm not sure I fully got it, but I'd say letting go of what is real because of reality.
Yudalev Lekacho.
By Passover, lonely.
Lonely.
It is?
Eric Mashiach Runner.
I think it's definitely social, and because I wasn't exactly sure what number 4 is, but maybe that also was it.
Barachov.
Fear.
Fear. Tap.
That's it.
You want to say another one? You're allowed to. You don't have to.
I guess another.
And you're not like, only don't want to say second round is optional.
They're all very connected.
They all connect to what?
Connect together, I think.
What's the connection?
Between all of them.
Yeah.
I think like because you're not able to continue, then like you start to doubt everything. Because you start to doubt everything, then you feel lonely, you feel empty, and you're scared.
You just ruined the shear.
Sorry.
Like yeah. And I only saw the shear for like 3 weeks, so you just like took it and like stepped on it. So really it is all connected. So if you have to summarize all of Sefer Shemot in 3 words, all of Sefer Shemot, right? Does anyone like, it's in the Torah, right? The entire Sefer, 3 words. How would you do the entire book? Union.
Bo El Paro.
Seriously?
Those are the only 3 words that I can think of like consecutively.
It's so close. Well, Baal Paro is big. But like if you have 3 words, that like sort of the experience, I guess, of Moshe and Paro, which is a huge experience.
It's like Moshe's going alone, you know?
That he has to like enter into Paro by himself. Huge. But I'm saying that there's like, if you look at the entire book, and you have to like describe it, the entire book, in conceptually, in just 2 ideas. Green man.
Birth of Am Yisrael?
Okay, and the birth has 2 parts to it. The entire book of Sefer Shemot is exile and redemption. That's the entire book. The beginning of Shemot and Va'era, exile, Bo B'Shalach are redemption, and it's not enough just to redeem yourself, but what bayit do you build? How do you continue the future? So after you redeemed yourself from slavery, you left Egypt, now you build a home for God, and that's the entire summary of the book. So if we want to be able to understand Sefer Shemot, we have to be able to define what is exile and what is redemption. And if anyone would ask you in Tanakh, where does the exile begin for Am Yisrael? Where does the exile start? Where does the exile of Am Yisrael start?
Going down to Egypt originally.
So you're saying Yosef. Like Yosef going down to Egypt is the beginning of all of exile. That the brothers sent out their brother, that is the source of where exile all begins. Right? No one's like, that's good. Oh, right? So any other definitions for exile? Like how do you define exile?
When Yaakov dies.
Source number 2. Okay, so in the second line, Vayichi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim 17 shana, Vayihi yemei Yaakov shnei chayav 7 shanim ve'arba'im u'me'at shana. Before that pasuk, that we describe that Yaakov is living in Egypt, it says, Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim be'eretz Goshen, Vayechazu ba, Vayifru, Vayirbu me'od. If you have to take those 9 words and define them as positive or negative, Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim be'eretz Goshen, Vayechazu ba, Vayifru, Vayirbu me'od. Is that a positive or a negative experience? Do not lie. Do not lie. Is it good or bad? Awesome. Am Yisrael is prosperous. Things are going well. Life is good. They're alive. They're settling. Vayeshev Yaakov, Vayeshev Yisrael. And we know that just before, where's the last time that it says Vayeshev? Where's the last time that it says that before? Vayeshev Yaakov. And he wanted to settle, and what happened? Nothing was good. Nothing was good. Vayeshev Yaakov, be'eretz megurei aviv. And life was good or bad? Life was good or bad in the land of Israel?
Bad.
Right? Yaakov gets there. He has a dream to settle, and it all falls apart. Yosef is thrown away, and everything falls apart. And we have the exact same words, Vayeshev Yisrael, and here, it's going well. Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim, it's going well. Vayechazu ba, vayifru, vayirbu me'od. The exact opposite. You came to Orayta, it sucked. You went to Rabini, he told you, change your life. You went to Rav Yair, he told you nothing about God. Then you go to university, Rabbi Korn is there, life is good. Hillel, awesome. So you have Vayeshev versus Vayeshev. Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz megurei aviv. In the home of his father. My expectation is what? Yitzchak blank. Orayta, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. What's my expectation? What's going to happen now? Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz megurei aviv. What do I think?
Be great.
It's going to be awesome. And it sucks. It all falls apart. Vayeshev Yaakov, Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim, Vayechazu ba, Vayifru, Vayirbu me'od. Where does that go back to? Vayifru, Vayirbu. Where is that? Pruvu, where is that? Come on, Doug. Where? Reishi. It all is such a great description. The next pasuk is the beginning of what? The next pasuk is the beginning of what?
Galut.
The beginning of the next parsha. What stands out in all of Tanakh? In all of Tanakh. In this next pasuk, different than anywhere else in all of Tanakh. Only Sofrim know this. Right after Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim, Vayechazu, Vayifru, Vayirbu me'od, Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim. There's something unique about that pasuk that only appears once in all of Tanakh. Once in all of Tanakh. Mark, you know it? Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim is a unique opening for a new parsha, different than any other parsha in all of Tanakh. Right? Why?
It starts in the middle.
Okay, so if you learn all of Tanakh, at the end of every parsha, there's a break. Right? There's a break. You stop. you stop after Breshit, you stop after Noach, you stop after Lech Lecha. You get to the end of Parsha Vayigash, the description of everything is going well. You go into the next pasuk of the next parsha. And this is the only time in all of Tanakh that there is no break. There's no break. So Rashi comes and says, why is there no break here? Why is there no break at the beginning of Parsha Vayechi? Because this is where exile began. Exile began right here. Exile did not start when they started slaughtering kids. It did not begin when they were killing the Jewish people. Exile began right here. And when you look at the two psukim, what appears twice? Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim, Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim. If I look at the pasuk before, what do I know? What do I know? He's in Mitzrayim. So guess what? Moshe says, you don't go to YU, you don't learn Torah all the time, but I just said, Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim, and I remind you, Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim. And the repetition does not need to be there. And what Rashi comes and says is that the lack of the break here is the beginning of exile. And the question is, why does Rashi say that? Why does Rashi think that Vayeshev Yaakov, Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim, Vayechazuba, Vayifru, Vayirbu is the beginning of exile? Why does he think that that is the beginning of exile? It's not what you would think. It's not common sense. It's the opposite of what we think. Right? I go out there and it's all success. There's so much success. We're rich. We have so many children. We're prosperous. Our grades are awesome. So how is this the beginning of exile? How is it the beginning of exile? Yeah, green man.
Because he goes from Vayesha to Vayechi, he goes from just settling there to living there.
Biggest answer I've ever heard in my life. That he was just there, now Vayechi. So he went from just, I'm here, that this is defining who I am. I'm now Eretz Mitzrayim. I want you to see one of the scariest Rav Nachmans you will ever see in your entire life. Rav Nachman in source 3 says, Yesh Shnei Hastarot. There are two types of things being hidden. כשהשם יתברך נסתר בהסתרה אחת. When God is hidden in one covering, גם כן קשה מאוד למוצאו. It's difficult to find him. אך אף על פי כן, כשהוא נסתר בהסתרה אחת, אפשר ליגע ולחתור עד שימצא אותו יתברך. So Rav Nachman says there's one type of God hiding, that he's hiding on level 1. It's a difficult experience, but it's possible to find him. And now he says something, maybe one of the sharpest things that Rav Nachman says. So if you go to the end of the line, אבל כשהשם יתברך נסתר בהסתרה אחר הסתרה, דהיינו שההסתרה בעצמה נסתרת ממנו. I want you to understand those 4 words. Rav Nachman says there's one type of hastara that I can't see God. What's the experience when someone feels that they can't see God? What do they think? What's the feeling when someone can't see God? Is it a difficult one or a positive one, a good one or a bad one? Moshe Sachs? Not fun, right? You walk around, you see disease, you see illness in the world, you see poverty in the world. God is hidden, and I feel bad. I feel really bad. But in the 4 words he says, what's the second type of hiddenness? שההסתרה בעצמה נסתרת ממנו. What are those 4 words? What is a higher level of God being hidden? Awesome. Not that he's hidden, but that you don't even realize that he's hidden. Rav Nachman says that there are times, places, experiences that I feel God's distance. Says Rav Nachman, that is the highest level, because every parsha ends with something blank. There's something missing. Every parsha ends and it says it's not ending. There's more to search for. There's more to look for. There's more to think about. But he says the parsha Vayechi begins with what? What does it begin with? That I don't even know that it's hidden. And he says the definition of exile is not that God isn't there. God not being there is the land of Israel. Yaakov comes to Israel, God spits in his face. You know what he does? What does Yaakov do when Yosef is gone? What does he do? What's his reaction? What's Yaakov's reaction when Yosef is gone? He tears his clothing. Yemei Evel Yered B'Yagon She'olah. My life is over. He experiences pain. And the pain of the land is the gain of the land. The fact that you feel that God is spitting on you means that you still feel. But the beginning of exile is that there's so much going on. There's so many tests, there's so many grades, so many girlfriends, so many texts, so many Facebook, so much going on that I don't even feel that it's hidden. And Rav Nachman comes and says, exile is not are you succeeding or failing. And the definition of exile is do you feel or not feel? And I know that walking around with guys that are failing and fall in university, the only question I ask them is when you were doing whatever you were doing, you went into a bar, you drank water like you have no idea. You experienced Purim on a Sunday. Did you feel like you were far, or did it become normal? What it says in Parshat Vayechi is that when it becomes normal, that's the beginning of exile. The beginning of exile is that there's something going on, but I don't even feel like I'm missing something anymore. And he says like the greatest thing in the world was when I married Tanya. So I called my Rebbe to get a bracha. And he said to me, I want my wife to give you the bracha. So I was like, oh, it's going to be amazing, right? So she gets on the phone and she's like, Yair, I'm so excited for the wedding. I want to give you a bracha. So right,